of that you're taking away parnasa from the poor. So if so, he shouldn't be printing Sfarim, because the printing press takes away parnasa from the scribes, and I have a concern that the Sfarim he wrote are, he was having some fun with it. Now, as Rabbi Yosef Shaul is sending letters out, there was a rabbi in Germany, a Talmid Chacham by the name of Rav Karo. You don't have to remember the name, but he goes public to the Hamagid. The Hamagid was the local periodical. It came out every week or two. It was really an arm of the Maskilim. But in any event, they go public with it. How do I have a copy of a newspaper from 1858? How do I have it?
Got it at the corner.
Got it at the corner, you say, yeah? And so online, of course, they scanned all of them. It's quite incredible. But yeah, he is extremely critical. He is extremely critical of Rosh Shlomo Kluger, and if he says the following: if you claim that to go ahead and use machine matzah, we are in essence mistreating kvod avoseinu, the honor of our forefathers, for making matzah in a different way. So he says, Im ken eifo osur lisal mesilas habarzel. So if so, it should be prohibited from traveling on the train. Why would it be prohibited to travel on the train? Because our ancestors never used the train. So therefore, he knows it's a chilul kvod avoseinu, and we should walk like them yechafei regel. So this is how he addressed the issue itself. If we want to go ahead, it's interesting to note that when he was writing these letters to the Hamagid, he notes that he never heard of Rosh Shlomo Kluger. 2 years later, he wrote an apology to Rav Shlomo Kluger because he said, now I know who you are. And Rav Shlomo Kluger says, machulach, meaning he took nothing personal. These were attacks that were going back and forth. He took absolutely nothing personal. So again, Gedolei Yisrael they were, and the debate itself, now you get, I think, a little bit more of the picture of what took place. After that, we know very well, some communities adapted it, others not. It's always interesting to note that in Yerushalayim, they had a more positive attitude towards the machine matzah. There was a to-do in the first decade of the 20th century that some chassidim claimed that we should not be using in Yerushalayim the machine. And the frushim, the talmidei, the disciples of the Goyim allowed it. And eventually there was a big... you know how you get news in Yerushalayim. You read the stones off the wall. So there was a big kol kaireh signed by Rabbi Naftali Amsterdam, and he signs it as a Talmud of Rabbi Yisrael Salant, and he says that I use the matzahs that are produced here. I think it was Halperin Brothers. I use the matzahs for the Seder night. He used machine matzah. In general, you could explain Yerushalayim. They had more attitude to accepting a different Torah for a different time. But in any event, the schools do exist. We still perhaps have to visit how we get around those who use shmura machine for Seder night. Have to explain the issue of lishma, which we could address at some other time. 100%, let's just end with clarity. Machine matzahs produced under Dura Good Hashgacha are 100% kosher. There are those that are still comfortable with tradition. They want to use the hand 100%. For the Seder night, there's a reason to use hand 100%. But at least we were able to visit this fascinating debate, know the history behind it, and at the same time, as we open, recognize the greatness of these rabbinic authorities, and recognize the fact that Gedolei Yisrael they were, and the debate, unfortunately, was a little bit nasty, fascinating indeed, and I apologize for not getting to the sugar, but as mentioned earlier, sugar is something that is always good to cut off, right? The less sugar. Thank you very much to sponsors. We'll take one. Yeah, take a question.
Well, just actually as a note, my grandmother, Aleh Shalom, was born in near Brody in Galicia in 1890. And she came to Canada in about 1903.
Okay.
So she told, from a Hasidic background, and her father actually came from Brody, my great-grandfather.
Okay.
So she says she remembered the controversy. At that time, she was aware of a controversy. This was already at the turn of the...
so it was still alive. It was still being discussed. Yeah. Brody was about, I think, 100 kilometers east of Lemberg. Krakow was, further west. And it was a Galicianish issue. The Galicianos created a very fascinating debate. Anyway, thank you, Pesach. You'll finish off here.
Thank you again to Steve and William Roth for sponsoring this evening.